Hello and welcome to my Volcanic Mine guide. So this came out recently with Fossil Island. The requirements to enter the Volcanic Mine I believe is 60 mining as well as 180 kudos and access to Fossil Island. To get your kudos, I'd recommend the woodcutting, the thieving and agility, or the new herbivore hunter. All those things are decent for fossils and you get them pretty quickly. Once you get your 180, all you gotta do is head to the northeast part of the mountain on Fossil Island and you'll be able to enter the mine at the cost of 30 numulite per game. Now, as far as the setup goes, I'll go ahead and show that right now. The best way I found is to use prayer gear mixed with your mining outfit. It gives you, a little bit more XP when you're mining, as well as when you're praying range, use a little bit less prayer. So I'm going to go ahead and try to show you guys the tactic we've been using. My team and myself have been working hard to find a good way to get the consistent rates that we're supposed to be getting, which at 99 is somewhere between 80 to 85k an hour. And at 80, I believe it's supposed to be around 70k an hour. I'm not too sure what the rates are actually at 80 because I obviously have 99 mining, so I don't really know. But I'm going to assume that you can get those rates. I know Hugo, the guy who's been doing this with me, is 87 mining, and he's been getting almost the same rates as me. I don't know if it's been lucky or just really good teamwork, but that's kind of what you can expect is some pretty good mining XP. Not the best. You can get better at quarry. Also, it's not the best money. You can get better money at blast mining or Motherlode or other places, but you're not here for that. You're here to learn how to do the Volcanic Mine. So let's get right into it. Sorry about the delay. So here's the map of the entire Volcanic Mine. This is the lower level. The upper level is only used to enter and to leave. So this is where you're going to spend the majority of your time while you're inside of the mine. And we're going to move more in depth on how to use it. So here is a diagram kind of how the map works. This is the lower part of the map. This is what you're going to use for the first, I want to say, about 7 minutes of every game. Sometimes it's 6. But all the X's are where you're going to place your water. Starting from the south end, that's where you place the first water. Once the boulder moves, you move it up one to the second part, and then you move it to the third part. And then finally, after the third one, every single time that you have the third one done, anybody on the west side is going to want to jump over to the east side using that gas hole where the blue is indicating that. So after you check A and B the second time, post the the 5 minute mark, you're going to be jumping over and you're going to be using the east side for the entirety of the rest of the game. And this is kind of just a basic overview. You can refer back to this if you'd like. The squares indicate where you check to see the percentages, and the circles indicate where you actually go and fix the things according to what you check. I would not recommend checking C. That kind of plays into our thing, but on the map I have C there just to kind of show you where it's at in case your team decides to use it. And again, these X's and the directions are only useful for teams of 10 or less. So this is the second part of the map. It's much more simplified. Again, this is for teams of 10 or less. You're going to just finish up your boulder that's near B, and then you're going to head up through the directional paths to where you want to get to the final boulder. Again, it's just very simple. Place your water in those arrows, and then you're at the spot. And now let's get into actually using your rolls in that first half to make yourself useful for the team and to make sure that you get the most points possible every single game. So there are 3 main roles. There's the A role, which will control both the vent and the checking of A. There's the B check role, which will only check the lower vent and see if B needs fixing. And there's the B fix role, which will fix B if it needs it, and if not, they will stay on the boulder. I'm going to go over each of these and how to do them. Let's start with the A role. So I've simplified the first map to show where the A role will go from the very start. You're going to start on the west side, and then you're going to go directly west, then south, check the vent if it needs fixing, then you go north and fix it. If it doesn't, you go south around up to where the first boulder spot is, and you just start mining. So you're probably asking why there's a red arrow pointing west and north. Now this is for the 5 minute and 15 second mark. You're going to go ahead and make those pathways. Only the west one first, and you're going to check the vent. If it needs fixing, then you'll build yourself a bridge to the A to fix it. If it doesn't need fixing, you go back over that first bridge you made and go up to the gas hole where you were going to jump over to the B side. It's much simpler if I just show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this is a start for the A roll where you're going to go west from the start and then go south, exactly as I said before. All you got to do is check the vent. Basically, if the vent is below 50, you want it to be blocked. If it's above 50, you want it unblocked. So right here, it's above 50, but it's blocked, so I want to unblock it right away. I do that, and then I go continue to start off on the first water vessel to start mining the boulder. That's as simple as that. That's all you have to do at the start. If you're an A roll, and you have to fix it. It's even easier in situations where you don't need to fix it. So these situations would be if it's going the right direction or if it's between 45 and 55%. You don't need to go back and fix it. You can just go directly south. It saves you a little bit of time. So right here, I'm close to 50. I don't have to worry about touching A right now. I can just go start my boulder, start my runoff, and that's how you do the A roll at the very start. Okay, so now we're getting into the middle game, and around the 5-minute 20-second to 5-minute 15-second mark is when you want to start heading back so you can check the A vent again, and this time you want to go use that red arrow on the map. If you remember, I made a red arrow. You want to go west and then north if you have to fix it, or just west and then back to east if you don't have to fix it. This saves you a little bit of time compared to going straight west first instead of using that south area. Once you do that, if you don't have to fix it, you can just go right back where you were. If you do have to fix it, you just build yourself a bridge north and fix the A vent. And once you fix it, all you gotta do is go back and you go straight north, as far north as you can until you get to the gas hole. And what you're gonna do is jump over. And once you jump over, you're on that side for the whole time. You stay on the east side for the remainder of the game, and your teammates will build you some water, and you'll be able to, complete the next portion of the boulder until the very end of the game. This is all you have to do. Everybody else does the same thing from now on, and the A roll is done. Moving on, here is the B check roll. This roll is also on the western side. Everybody else, apart from the B check roll and the A roll, should be on the east. So you start out west, like I said, and you're just going to start out by going directly south this time. Instead of going over to the west to check A, you just go directly south, you check B at the vent, and then you just go to mining. The B fix roll will go fix it if they need to. You're completely done with your roll for the next 5 minutes. All you have to do is just mine the boulder and get it down. So as I just said, once you're around the 5-minute 20 mark, or if the boulder goes down at this checkpoint, you just want to start heading south again. And what you're going to do again is just wait for the 5-minute mark so that it resets. You check B, then you go back just as A went through the gas hole over to the east side, and that's all you have to do. That's your entire roll. It's very simple. You just have to make sure you wait, because if you don't wait, it can mess things up. You could go early, nobody knows what B is, and your whole team could die, lose all your points, so no pressure. So as I said before, the B check and the A are the western people. Every single other player should be on the east when you start out, so anybody could do this B fix roll. All you gotta do when you start out is just go down, go south, and start mining the boulder. If B needs to be fixed, all you have to do is run back north and fix it, either block or unblock it. But in this situation, I did not have to fix it. I just start mining, and that's all I have to do until the midway point. So now we're at the midway point, and anywhere between 1 and maybe 7 or 8 players should be at this spot. And at this point, it lets us know that it's at 53%. It's blocked. Merritt quickly goes over and unblocks it. He didn't need to do this because it's at 50% or so, but he did it anyways because it's it's fine to do. It's a free extra 50 points for him doing that to him, and that's completely fine to do. So that's it. That's all you have to do for the B fix roll. There's one more thing I would do when your entire team arrives is build one more water north or south, and this water will be where every single player will stand. And if you do that, then every single player should be able to finish off that boulder before that one water disappears, and it's really useful to do that so nobody falls. So now if you've made it this far into the mine, everybody should be mining it. Everybody should be at the same point in the same area, and you just want to get to the last stage, which is up here. Build yourself your final destination to get up there, and once you're there, you just mine and rack in the points. This final boulder is where most of the points come in. You can see I have 1k points at 3 minutes left. 7 minutes in, I only have 1k points. Usually that's actually pretty high. Sometimes I have like 600 points there, but sometimes I end with like 2.7k points, even with that 700 points 7 minutes in. So it's pretty good. Most of your points come from this last boulder, so if you missed a little bit of the points sometime towards the start, you shouldn't be discouraged. You can always catch it up. And the last water you want to build is around the 2-minute mark. As Hugo just did it, you build one west, and then you're completely fine for the rest of the game until you start building your path out of the area. And you can see here, right at the end, I've got myself almost 2.7k points. I started 2 minutes before that with 1k points. So I got 1.7k points in 2 minutes compared to the 1k points in 7 minutes. As you see, that last boulder is the most important part of the entire mine. You want to make sure you get there as quickly as you can and as consistently as you can. And this is a huge factor. In this game, it didn't matter. Obviously, we had an entire minute left. But if you're around that 30-second mark, you really want to get out. Because if you don't get out, you don't get any points. You die. You miss. The whole 10 minutes was wasted because you get nothing out of it. But as you can see right here, I got to cash in my points, and I got about 10k XP from that 1 XP drop. Okay, so now it's time to get into some of the tips of how to make this more efficient or how to do better and be more consistent with getting this correct. So the biggest tip I can think of is the water spots. So we'll get to those last because those I feel are the most important. So before we do that, some of the biggest tips I've got is if you're not 99 mining, to use your dragon pickaxe spec a couple times a game. Towards the end is the best because that's when you get the most ore fragments. So I would assume that you want to use, or at least save a special attack for that final boulder. But it's obviously going to help. And along with the special attack, you probably want to use Preserve, just so that your boosted stat stays boosted longer. So that's the first tip I've got for you. The next tip, obviously, is to pray range. Those monsters don't hit you much, but they do hit you at least one every single time if you're not praying. So you want to make sure that you pray range to kind of avoid a decent amount of the damage. The only damage you should be taking is AoE damage. So this is a repeat tip, but once your team arrives at that second to last boulder, you want to make sure that you build one more water north or south and everybody stands on it. That way nobody falls in and takes like a 50 or a 60, also getting reset back to the start. It's just going to slow down the team if you don't build that one water and make sure the whole team stands on it. Because if that mistake happens, it's really going to slow the team down and it could be awful. My next tip is to pay attention to your HP and your stability. I don't like going below about 40 HP. Sometimes I'll go below though, but you just want to make sure that you're eating up and, you know, because if you die, you actually get sent to your respawn. It's not a safe death. If you're a hardcore Iron Man, do not do this. You will probably die. I've died a fair few times learning this. I would not recommend doing this as a hardcore. Make sure you watch your HP. You also want to watch the stability because we don't know C. The part of this method is that we don't check C. So if we know that the stability is going down a lot, then we can probably assume that C is in the red zone, meaning that we need to fix A or B because they're most likely also damaged if it's going down rapidly. Now, if you're at the 6-minute mark and the stability is going down, if it's not going down too fast, you should be fine until the 5-minute mark. Same with the 2-minute mark until the end. If the stability is going down, you should be okay to keep going, but it depends, again, on how fast it's going down. Just make sure you're paying attention to it. It's not a big deal, but as long as you're watching it a little bit, you should be okay. These next couple tips may seem obvious, but if you have close to 65,000 points, spend your points. I know the shop isn't that great at the moment, but they're looking to balance it, I believe, hopefully. And the other tip I have is to keep some inventory space so that you can get the fragments. If your inventory is too full, it actually won't let you get the fragment. So you want to make sure you got some space open and also make sure you spend your points or else they're just going to waste. If you're in a team that has a consistent rate of finishing the boulder ahead of time so that maybe at the end you have an extra 30 seconds or an extra minute, what you can do sometimes towards the middle or towards the end is grab some rocks that are next to the B vent and fill them and then get rid of them and then fill them so that it's correct. You can max out at 300 points with that, so that's 6 uses, either of adding and removing, or, you get 50 points each time. So if you want an extra 300 points and you're able to get it, you can try that. But I would definitely prioritize keeping the boulder going because you get much more than 300 points at that final boulder. So only do this if you have the time to do it. But it is just a little tip to get a little bit extra if your team is, doing really well. Another tip that may seem obvious to some but not others is on your way out, eat up to full and get your prayer up as much as you can without wasting, obviously. So that way, as soon as you get out, you can go ahead and bank, pull out stuff, and then just go right back in without having to re-heal and think about how much you got to heal and think about how much food you have. You already know you're full HP and full prayer. You just pull out a few more food and go right back down so that you can waste 0 downtime between games. Okay, my final tip before I show you all the spots to place your water before the boulder gets to the actual spot is that you can equip your water vessel and you're able to actually throw it with it equipped. You just have to right click. After you do one click in a certain direction, you don't actually have to click that same one again. Like, you don't have to click south twice or west twice. You just have to click it one time, and then the very top, the first option, apart from removing, is to just throw water. It'll throw it in the same direction you just threw it if you want to go in one direction. So it's very easy to get that down. You don't have a chance of misclicking. Like, let's say you click south and then you might misclick and click east. You won't do that because you'll just be clicking the top one and it'll go the same direction. It's a huge tip. I just figured it out actually today and it's been very useful. I haven't made any mistakes since figuring that out, and it's very, very nice. Okay, so now we're getting into the water spots. This is for the west side first. So if you see this little U here, you can actually make one east here, and it may not look like it, but you can actually mine it from here. This is the farthest north. Now, you wouldn't normally do this. Normally, the person would go from B, or the first person here would be coming from the south, because they'd have to check that B vent. So usually what you do is you go here and place it. But I'm just showing you can place that water vessel there. That is the most north you can go. Once you do that, after this boulder goes, the next spot is just one north of this V. You just want to place one here and the rock will be there. You can place it as it's coming so you're ready to start mining as soon as it's there. Once that one goes, and if you're on the west side, you just go up again, and then right here on this little lip, you put one east, and it'll be the right spot again. If they start to fade like this, you're fine for a little bit. Once you know it's been there for about 20 or 25 seconds, you want to maybe make one more to the north on any of the ones I just showed, or south. Very easy to do. And that's the entire west side done, because afterwards we're going to go to the east side, as I said before. So now let's go over and show the east side where you're going to place your water. Alright, so starting on the east side now, there is one spot you can go to where it's only one square west, and it's right here. Every other spot is going to take you 2. Now, I would only recommend this if you have a very, very, very efficient team, because if not, you're going to have to build a second water regardless. So when you do build that second water, you're probably just going to want to go south here, and then you're going to want to build one to the east so you can escape later on. And that is the first boulder. These 3 squares should be the ones you use the most. You can go with the 2 first, then the north if you know it's not going to be on the first set of water, or you can go 1 west if you're feeling confident, and you can go ahead and do that. Now the second spot, this entire V-lip here is probably the best place to go. Again, from here you can go 1 west and you'll be fine, or you can go 1 south and you'll be fine. Actually, there's multiple spots where it all works, and it's very nice here. So I usually typically just use this little lip right here. I'll just go west and we'll be good to go, and we'll be mining it. But you can do what you'd like. Now for the third spot, right on this corner, you go up again to where those stairs are. You just go 1 south. This will be where the third boulder spot is for the east side. And if it does start to deteriorate, you just go south again. And then once it destroys, you just go north again. And it's as simple as that. And now over here, the easiest spot, I think, is just to line up with this chamber and just go 1 to the west. And then again, as soon as your team gets here, the entire team is here on this 4th one. You're just going to want to do 1 north, and then you're good to go. By the time that goes, then you take your directional spot up here. It is slightly faster. We have tested this. This is 3. That's 1. The time it takes to do those 3, it is slightly faster to go with just the 1, even if it looks like it's a longer run. And you're going to want to go up here. And as soon as you're done with this, you just build the 1 north. And then again at the 2-minute mark, this is where you pre-put the spot. 2-minute mark, you go west here. You can't place that here, obviously, because it's not here yet. You can't place a lava in the direction that's coming unless it's already past that direction. So that's where you want to put it at the 2-minute mark. Obviously, I can't put it there yet. So those are all the water spots. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I hope it was able to, kind of teach you about how to do the volcano mine. And the rates, as far as they go, I had a couple hours that were like 76K. I had a couple hours that were like 89K. I even had 1 hour above 90K. But I think the long-term average is about 82K an hour, which is what was pulled. So it's very, balanced, I'd say. The reward shop, again, I think needs a slight buff. It doesn't need to be 500K GP an hour, but, it'd be nice to get something back out of this, considering how many supplies we use. And it does require some effort and teamwork, so it'd be nice to be rewarded for that. Other than that, though, this has been very fun. I hope that the pet chance here is pretty nice so I can keep coming back. Once again, thank you all for watching. I hope this video helped, and we can still say that mining is respectable.